I watched the deep blue of dusk roll in from the damp wooden bench of a schoolyard as I waited for the taxi. The middle-aged man renting me a room in his apartment had insisted again and again that he take nude photos of me for his photography project, cradling a camera in the crux of his right elbow. When I took my bags and left the key in his metal mailbox, he left me a message stating that I was too young and inexperienced to deal with such situations. There will be many times in life, he had written, that someone will ask something of you that you do not wish to do. Behind the school, a group of boys drinking bottles of beer laughed and danced around a makeshift campfire, their shadows blooming across the brick wall. I sat alone in the lobby of my new hostel, burrowed in the dark weight of a Western European forest, peeling back the skin of a clementine. The bitter orange scraps packed themselves under my nails. My grandmother once told me that when you peel a clementine in one piece, you can whisper a wish into its rind. Halfway through, the skin tears. I make a wish anyway, though the meaning feels distant, as it has gotten increasingly difficult to read my own mind. Any clarity was only nested within the understanding that there was some unknown absence strung across me like a sheet over an open cage. A thought of this nature knows only to follow you. There is no room for it in your palms, and there is nowhere else for it to go. It was this that I had come to ask of myself, that if the missing shape of my real life called out to me, I would answer. I would go anywhere it asked me to. On a whale-watching boat tour, I sat in the dimly lit corner of the empty main cabin littered with jackets and paper plates, looking down at the dark water. The mass appeared several times, its heavy skin twisting between wind and waves, and the boat circled back towards the shore. Along the coast, the constant downpour of rain had carved muddy divots into the earth, bogging down the purple flowers blooming from its gut. As I waited for the bus, I sat crouched on a damp wooden bench, chin digging holes in the flat of my left knee. I searched for poems between the lines of my cracked phone screen, wiping away the drops of rain falling like stones onto the words. I read the one about the crying of a nightbird through scattered trees, and the one about the man with the parakeets resting on his shoulders, and I wondered if it all came back to birds. 2 falcons circled overhead, running like children in the dim sky. I switched seats with the woman on the train who preferred being closer to the window. For 2 hours, I looked past her towards the charcoal earth scattered with moss, at the swollen yellow of the sun shyly filtering through strands of her black hair, like the first hum of morning light melting behind an open door. I had learned, throughout the quiet curiosity of the past few days, to be especially observant of passageways. A window, outlined with wooden trim, white and peeling, looking out towards a river weaving through a dense wood. An arched doorway carved into a stone wall, leading to a stained glass panel of a vulture adorned with the relics of a saint. 2 young girls running in zigzags down the long hallway of a castle, their fingers brushing gently past the grooves in the walls, dust spinning in the light. Among the distant hills, just beyond the reach of the winding tracks, sprouted quiet towns with stone houses painted in varied peeling shades of yellow, blue, and green. An old woman in a pink floral nightgown hung laundry on a clothesline suspended across the pillars of her balcony. A pair of wrinkled blue jeans, a ruffled summer dress, a child's t-shirt with the name of a local soccer team. In the shade of the cobbled street below her, a cat carefully licked the backside of its tired paw, dirtied white fur brushed by the gentle hand of the wind. The streets were lined with bicycles and swaying lines of citrus trees, lemons and oranges eclipsed by the nods of tattered leaves. I picked at the empty spots of skin inside my tattoo, thinking of the birthmark on my thigh that I had not seen since I was a child. The train moved quickly through the darkening fields, each town sinking time and time again behind the hills as they dissipated to memory. The quiet balance of life remained untethered from the passing of my shadow along stone walls, for lemons would continue to grow and fall and grow again. Dirtied shirts would always find their way back to loving hands held under the run of warm water. Tongue would continue to meet paw on shaded, rugged streets. It all wilts and falls and returns again, grass drifting backwards through knowing tracks, body lying still. This sweeping need most of all, this bitter skin. In sleep, it often visits me, a strand of fur picked up by the wind, carried over fields and hills and valleys. The familiar shape of a mourning dove adds the fur to her nest in a tall pine outside my bedroom window. As I lace up my shoes, she calls out my name, and the trill of her voice sounds just like the singing rails of a train. Thank you.